welcome to Banbury North. This is the 1900s Great Western box. If you look, it's actually quite a large box, so it's 95 litres long, so it was the largest Great Western frame left in use on the mainline network, so it's a very large box. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you here this afternoon. It's quite unique to have a really nice large group to be able to use the frame as it was. It still works exactly as it did as of the 30th of July when it was decommissioned. So the idea is, I'll talk a little bit about the frame, the block shelf and the equipment that's on it, and the diagram, bring it all together, and in about 10 minutes time you should then be able to grab some lever cloths and have a go yourself and be able to work it as a signalman did. So my name's Mark Bennett. I work for Network Rail, so my current day job is railway signalling projects. So for instance the Banbury area signalling project. So this was the £76 million complete upgrade. So brand new track layout, new signalling system, new platform and a whole package of line speed and capacity upgrades. But before I was doing projects, I used to be a signalman. And this box in particular is a little bit of a favourite of mine. So when they gave me this project, I had the opportunity to defer the demolition, thinking there'd only be a couple of hundred people out there that would want to come and see, and we're well over 2,500 now, so which is fantastic, and it's lovely to have you here this afternoon. So starting off with the frame, so the red levers that you see, these are signals, so you can see there's quite a few signals down the frame. The black ones are points, and these are locks that are associated with a set of points. And then as you go down the frame, you see how the height of these levers suddenly changes. So this is because these are electrically operated, so they don't require as much effort to operate. So when you have a little go yourselves, because it's disconnected, you don't need to put as much effort in. Release them, both hands, and pull on the back. Put your weight behind a mechanical set of points. If you try to put that amount of effort to this set of points, when you can use them with one sort of finger, you'd be out the window. So what they did, just in case you did forget in the heat of the moment, they took the top of the handle off. So if you tried to grab at it, you know, you wouldn't do yourself a mischief. These are basically it's a large keyboard with a computer underneath it. The computer that's under here is rather old. Signal 80 requires 72, 73, and the white band is a... So what that is doing is it's interlocking the levers together to create a more safe system. On the left hand side of the screen you'll see movement. Creates that movement downstairs. It's only when the whole thing goes across you get the final move. So if I now do 73 in the middle, you should be able to see that. And now if I do, maybe I haven't quite gone all the way across, so the points aren't quite fitting up correctly. What you wouldn't want to do is now be able to clear the signal to tell the driver what to say. So they have to just work downstairs. So that's the frame, the mechanical frame. The block shelf is basically a whole series of repeaters to tell me what's happening outside the signal box. Each is individually numbered and it corresponds to its respective lever. So to give it as a bit of an example, with 41, which is a set of points, this is shown normal because it's in the frame. Likewise 43, which is a signal, which is red, is shown as being as danger. And then if we look at 47 on here, again shown as danger, but when it's operated from on to off, the repeater would tell the signalman that the signal was clear. And then my favourite bit, these are the bells. So you'll see on here, I've got a mainline bell, a down relief bell, and I've got goods bell, and they all sound slightly different. So the idea behind that was that before the advent of telephones and mobile phones, the only way you could talk between signallers was using these bells. So that single bell was known as call attention. So when it sounded, your attention would be drawn to whichever bell that made the sound. To use the bells when you have a go yourself, when you press this, it rings a bell at the next signal box. So when he sends you call attention, by repetition you let him know you're here. The signalman in Banbury South would respond with call attention. And I could then use this to offer trains on. So a class 1 train, 3 pause 1, and if it was safe for him to accept it, and then I would use the instrument to show that the line was clear and I'd accepted that particular train. When the train entered the section, the signaller at Banbury South would give the entering section, and by repetition I'd acknowledge that, put the block indicator to train on line, and then when the train had safely left the section and passed my signal box and got complete with tail lamp, this time round I would call his attention, he'd acknowledge, and I'd tell him that the train was out of the section, which is, and the block would be returned to normal. And that sequence of offering and accepting trains has been worked continuously in this signal box since 1900. So on the diagram, each of the track circuits is shown on here. So when a train moves along, what it looks like to the signalman, it tells him the presence of the train, is it illuminates. And then as the train moves down, obviously this is just for the demonstration, but the train had passed the signal box and he'd kind of continue moving down. So at Banbury South, he's got a similar arrangement. To get him through this area that I look after, he has to offer me and I have to accept the trains. So he'd call my attention and respond, so he'd know that I'm here. He'd then offer me the train. So cross country is a class 1, so it's 4 beats. And then what I need to do, this is my area of control, I just need to double check that 20 points, 11s, 75s are all normal. So you've got, there's 20s, there's 11s, and then there's the other set just there.
Yeah.
And FPL is the facing point lock, which is the blue one. So the line is clear between his signal and my clearing points at all of this section. There's no trains in here. The points are safe and locked for this train. So I can say, yes, the line is clear. What I then do is I give him a line clear. That then enables him on 84 to clear his signal, so the train can safely come in. So the big red ones, these are the main line signals, so 43 and 47. So can you find 43? Doing that, you sort of squeeze the handle, that's it, and then pull. Fantastic. So 43 would go to off. Likewise 47, do 47 as well for me. So it go from on to off. So the route is now set all the way towards Leamington for this train that's back at Aina. So the train comes into the station, so it passes Banbury South signal box. So to let me know, it sends a code called train entering section. So I hear 2 beats. So by repetition, I acknowledge that. Put the thing to train on line. train comes into the platform, and then he leaves the platform, picks up the passengers, so he starts to step forward. So round about here, you're waving as he goes past the signal box. So that would go back to danger. As soon as the train clears off this little white dot, if you can call attention. Okay. So to say out of section, you do 1, 2, pause, 1. And then this time, you put your block to normal. So the train quite happily carries on up towards Leamington. Now Leamington was a slightly more modern form of signalling. This area in Banbury was called absolute block signalling. So this was the principle that between a block section, which was signal to signal, you could only ever have one train in one section at any one time, and that created a safe separation between trains. Track circuit block, same sort of principle, one train, one section at any one time, but each train had a code. So I would have typed 1P24, enter, and it would have gone into a screen as a code, and as the train stepped forward, the code would be carried with it. So the train would continue forward, and he'd sort of disappear off my track completely, and be controlled by the adjacent signalman at Leamington. So you've seen the train on the up, the down. This is like almost the starting position. Now the good thing about the frame is it's almost in 3 sections. You've got the top end where you've got a junction with mechanical points, lots of shunting signals. You've got signals in the middle for the up and the down main, so you can control this middle section of the railway. And then down there is where you can do some shunting with the lower numbers. So the best thing to do is grab some lever cloths, jump on, have a play, see what you can figure out, pick your house number, you know, and try and get the signal to clear. And then if you get stuck, ask me or Greg, and we'll give you a hand. And if you need a hand with any photos of like family and group shots, again, just give us a shout. But jump on, have a go and see what you can find. Push anything you like, you can't break it.